Hey everybody, welcome to the Calitraveler podcast show. I'm your host, Paul. Once again, welcome to the Calitraveler podcast show. I'm your host, Paul. Welcome to episode 6 of the Calitraveler podcast show. In this episode, we're going to be discussing about homesickness and ways you can combat it. 2 years ago, I ended up moving from San Francisco, California to Bangkok, Thailand to pursue my studies in communication arts, digital media communication. And as much of an amazing experience that I've had living abroad, which is a dream I've always had since I was in high school, I'll be truthful with you. There's been nights where I've been sad. I've cried myself to sleep because I've been homesick. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, that homesickness has definitely increased. Lately, I've been thinking about home so much. For instance, I would always be watching the news or watching any TV programs from the US. I would listen to one of my favorite radio stations from back home. And I would be eating like a lot of American foods. Yes, including fast food. So lately I've been talking about home like a lot. Because typically, at the end of the year, I go home for a couple of weeks, and then I come right back to Thailand. Well, unfortunately, because of the pandemic this year, I'm not able to go back home. For one, with a high number of cases in the US, there's no way that I'm going to be able to go back there and then stay safe. Because as soon as you come back to Thailand, you have to have 14-day quarantine. So, I would think about home a lot. I would talk about it a lot. I would watch YouTube videos of dash cam footage on the highways, and I would watch YouTube videos on like places to visit in my own city, which I've already known those places. I look up like videos of Fisherman's Wharf or Pier 39, the San Francisco Ferry Building, Oracle Park, which is where the San Francisco Giants play, which is a baseball team in San Francisco. And of course, I would also watch sports as well, too. Like I would watch baseball, but it's extremely difficult to watch it here, especially because baseball is not a popular sport in this part of Asia. The two countries in Asia where baseball is really popular is South Korea and Japan. So unfortunately, I couldn't watch baseball. So I would listen to music. And lately I've been listening to a lot of bands from the Bay Area. Like I'd listen to like Green Day, Third Eye Blind, Train, Journey, all these bands are from the San Francisco Bay Area. And I would look at pictures of home on my phone. And, I would always be sad about it and, reminisce about home. Well, I was talking to one of my friends who lives here in Thailand and, from the States as well, too. And even he's dealt with homesickness as well, too. However, and we both talk about home. Instead of being sad, for some reason, it makes us both really happy. And it's okay to be homesick. It's okay to feel like you miss home. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I can give you some pointers to homesickness. For one, always remind yourself of home. Think about it. always give yourself some time to really think about things and realize that home is never far away. The one good thing I would have to say about our generation and the next generation is that communication technology is so much better now. If you miss home or you miss your family, you can call them on video. You can talk to them on video. Reach out to your family. And once you talk to your family, it makes things a little bit better. Or, if you're really craving the taste of home, you can do what my fat ass does and has like McDonald's, Burger King. I don't have Pizza Hut here. I don't have Pizza Hut here because truthfully, Pizza Hut here is a lot different than it is back home. It's good, but I prefer Pizza Hut back home. And you just go to places that remind you of home. Like, one of the best places to go to for me when I'm missing home, and it always makes me feel better, it's getting some ice cream from Swenson's. I don't know if any of you living here in Thailand have ever been to Swenson's, but Swenson's is actually from San Francisco. The original location is still open to this day, and it's a historic site in San Francisco. So I'll go there sometimes. And when I have a taste of home, I feel a lot better. Like, I'll leave with a smile on my face, I'll come home with a smile on my face, and I'll fall asleep with a smile on my face after combating that homesickness. We all miss home, and home will always be with us. No matter where you're at in the world, home is always going to be in your heart. Home is always where the heart is. And if you are missing home, just think positive. Just realize you can visit anytime. And when I've gone home, I feel really happy. I feel like everything's reset. But through a pandemic, unfortunately, travel restrictions occur. You can't leave borders, or you can't come back into borders of a country. But you know what? Technology can help combat that homesickness. Watch videos on YouTube. Watch travel shows on TV. And you might be lucky if it's on TV and they show your city. But these things will help you out. And as long as you think positive, and as long as you find ways to remind you of home, you'll find yourself to be happier, and you won't find yourself to be as homesick. But remember, homesickness is totally fine. It's normal, and it's easy to combat. You might be sad, but think positive, keep doing what you're doing, and realize that home is always in your heart. So no matter where you're at in the world, it'll always be there. Podcast can be heard weekly on my YouTube channel, so subscribe to Calitraveler 93, as well as liking my Facebook page, Calitraveler 93, and the podcast will be available on Spotify and other platforms. You know, man.